And staying with that theme, the reintroduction of a legislation in the US Congress aimed at protecting American IT workers brings back concerns that the immigration reform in the US will remain an overhang for the Indian IT sector in 2017. But what are the actual facts of the case on the ground? Let's take a closer look.
Going by earnings reports, 2016 was a horrible year for all Indian IT companies. And the beginning of 2017 has not been great either. That's because a bipartisan legislation has been reintroduced in the US House of Representatives. Called Protect and Grow American Jobs Act, this calls for two key changes. It allows an H1B visa only for positions with a minimum salary of $100,000 instead of the current $60,000. It also makes a master's degree mandatory for the visa applicant. Technology stocks saw some major selling today.
A very rough ballpark calculation could translate into 150 to 200 bips takeoff from the operating margins of the large Indian IT companies. From the point of view of where it was 3 years back, it's definitely the local hire proportion is a lot higher as compared to where it was historically. So they are definitely positioned better as compared to what was 3 to 4 years back when these bills had started coming through. The way we look at it, large cap IT, we have our pecking order, so we prefer HCL Tech and Infosys. So these have been our top picks, and we feel they're positioned pretty well to handle this.
But is this more a problem of perception, or are Indian companies guilty of taking away American jobs when they don't need to? Let's first take a look at the share of H1B visas taken up by Indians. It is true that in 2015, 70% of H1Bs were taken up by Indians. But look at the detail. It includes Indians receiving H1B from non-Indian tech companies like IBM and Indians who are already non-residents. Adjusting for these factors, the percentage of H1B visas issued to Indian IT companies like TCS and Infosys, including renewals, is much lower. More importantly, according to experts, this number is actually falling. The top 6 Indian IT companies collectively received 44% fewer visa approvals in financial year 15 as compared to financial year 12. The other relevant question to ask is this: are H1B workers generally underpaid relative to US nationals or permanent residents? Our conversations with top Indian IT companies tells us this. The annual median wage for H1B positions of Indian IT companies in financial year 16 was between $65,000 to $75,000. This compares to between $80,000 and $85,000 that US nationals make on average. While this gap has been closing over the years, the proposal to hike minimum wage requirement for H1B employees will definitely hurt Indian companies. However, it will also push up costs for American IT companies and their clients.
I don't think anyone can stop American companies from outsourcing work to India if it is competitive enough. So I don't see it as a disaster or something to be overly concerned with. Really make any conjecture about the legislative process. But again, Republicans now control the Senate. It could even have a swifter move. But in either cases, we are prepared for it.
There is enough demand for talented and skilled IT workers in the US. But can it all be met by American workers? A US government survey suggests that US nationals account for less than a quarter of graduate seats in electrical and computer engineering courses. Meaning, IT companies will be hard-pressed to make their numbers count. In spite of all of this, if the law comes to pass, Trumponomics will definitely blow a hole in Indian IT's American dream. In Mumbai, Prashant, Nair.
Well, time for